As the last of the great Quadriland knights, it is my duty to release Quadriland from the reign of the Dark Warlock, who has brought misery to this once beautiful planet for the last 500 years.
After taking power about 500 years ago, the all-powerful dreaded Warlock split himself into 3 selves of differing power, which each self ruling a particular kingdom from a hidden and dangerous fortress.
I must explore Quadriland, visiting continents, islands, seas and forests, fighting fearsome monsters, looking for weapons and spells to bring his reign to an end.
We are now going to look at another game from Graphic Adventures for the Spectrum 48K by Richard G Hurley, published by Marcus Press in 1984. This game is Chapter 5, Quadriland, and shows the technique of pseudo-arrays. The entire game is written in about 75k of program and uses BASIC together with machine code routines to speed up the graphics. To enter all of this information into the 48k of the computer, the pint in the half-pint pot problem, the game has been divided into 3 distinct sections which must be entered in a certain way. Type program quad 1 into the computer, taking great care with all the data lines. Save that on side B of the tape as quad.1. Then type program quad 2 into the computer, again taking great care with the data. Save that onto side B of the tape as quad.2. Type in the main program quad.3, taking the usual care. Do not run it at this time. Save that on side A of the tape using the command save quad 3 line 1. Then load program quad 1, type run. After a few minutes it'll say OK. Load quad 2, type run. Once it says OK, you then need to save the code onto side A with save code 50015-536 and save the user-defined graphics with save CHR code USRA 72. By storing the maps in a pseudo-array in high RAM, you save a huge amount of memory. So basically, he saves 20k by doing this. The only tricky thing is actually accessing the array. You have to use a complicated peek thing involving lots of brackets and multiplication. Playing instructions. Quadriland is a real-time graphics adventure, meaning it'll continue even when you're not doing anything. Therefore, we need fast reflexes. You use the Sinclair joystick interface 2 to move, which is 67890, 0 being fire, displays things on the screen. There are various types of terrain, useful points to consider. You can't walk on water. Mountains are impassable on foot. You need extra food in the desert. Walking through fields of quadrillion poppies may damage your health, but can result in wonderful experiences. As with many worlds, Quadriland has many populated areas represented on the map in black. These can be explored by moving into the appropriate square and using the Enter key. Various monsters as well. The strength of each monster will depend on its gender, and information regarding this must be gained during the adventure. There are also various command keys. Good luck, and remember, Quadriland is a very big world. Typing in the machine code was a bit annoying. There is, in program quad 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a bit pages of numbers, just data same as numbers. Quad 2 is a bit shorter, but there's still 2, 4, good 5 pages of just data statements, which mostly represent either machine code or the actual map. It's important to get it right, otherwise you get strange things. All I'm loading now is the user-defined graphics, of which there aren't that many. We've now loaded successfully. We're now running quad 3 and are initializing all the data. So off we go with a little black stick figure in the middle of the map. Green is plains, yellow is desert, blue is obviously the sea. We have gold, we have strength, we have food. Food is slowly decreasing. If you run out of food, you will die. If you run out of strength, you will die. Moving towards the black square, which is the village. I'm pressing the keys to go in. you must use capital letters to go in. The letter E in capitals is going in. This is a village. There's the huts, so the red bits are the interior. Go to onto the left-hand side. Go in and press T for transact. I may buy 50 units of food for 40 gold pieces. Yes, please. Alright, so whenever you go into a building, press T for transact or C for converse. Converse lets you chat to the old codger living within. It'll give you some kind of clue. Or you can press T for transact. Unfortunately, there's no way without going into each building of knowing whether you can buy things there or you can talk to people. You just have to go in and hope for the best. There are 7 different types of village you'll encounter, and you'll recognise them by their layout. But it loads very, very quickly, which is nice. Here I can buy a longsword for 50 gold pieces. Yes, please. So now I own a longsword and I bought some more food. So it should now be stronger. Don't walk into walls, obviously. And you exit the village by moving off at the bottom of the screen. Back into the world of Quadriland. You also gain experience by going into a village. I gain 10 experience points. And my strength is now doubled up to 100. Which is nice. So proceeding in a northerly direction. You can see there's the sea to the left. The forest to the right. Up ahead is mountains. Mountains are impassable. On foot at least. And there's another village to the right. Not much action so far, but it's early days yet. It's a big old world. So there is a village there. Let's go and see what's in the village. Oh, there's a sea monster in the sea. And it's another layout of village with a nice village pond in the centre. A long hut to the left. A sort of magical spiral place to the right. Here I can buy 100 units of food or 75 pieces of gold. It's important to shop around. You gain gold by killing monsters. You may also be lucky and find a treasure chest. Ooh! I can buy a compass for 200 pieces of gold. Nah, I can't. I don't think I can afford it, to be fair. So let's now head back out into the world. There's the sea monster. Food is ticking down. Got 60 gold left. And there's a boat. Boat is guarded by some bloke with a spear. Going through the forest, you can see my health is dropping, but my experience is increasing because I'm having some kind of psychedelic trip. Winners don't use drugs, apart from in Quadriland, of course. So my strength is now half of what it was, nearly, which is a bit of a shame because I bought a longsword especially. And we have a desert. Mysterious desert. Now in the desert, you use more food, so I'm now using double the amount of food because obviously the desert is it's harder work, but it represents drinking in that. There's another forest. There's a village, and hopefully, I'm going straight through the forest. It's rather foolish because my strength will now drop like a stone. There is no natural healing, you only heal by buying equipment. Fortunately, equipment is stackable. My strength is down to 25, but there is a village up ahead. And the land narrows and is guarded by some kind of duck, or is it a dragon? It's kind of hard to tell. Let's go and have a fight. So attack it. 1 for, 2 against. My strength down to 17. Oh, it's hitting back. 1 and 6. It's all very silent, unfortunately. I keep trying to attack. And then it's beeped at me for no particular reason. It likes beeping. It's oh, let's move up. Let's move back and attack again. Then we need to run up. Oh, attack 4 against 8. Hit me again and hit me again against 7. And it's killed me. Game over. So, I think there's some things we can improve here. So let's make it better. So this is the new and improved version. I've been very, very busy. So, I've added a little loading routine because the game takes about 5 minutes to load if you're not using fancy emulating loading. So I thought, well, what of a nice standard loading screen? I could have drawn art myself, but I'm far too lazy, especially as the book already has quite a nice line drawing of Quadriland and a bloke in a swamp. So I thought we'll use that. I created this using ZX Paintbrush and then used a little tip from Jonathan Colwell's book to stop the subsequent loading from ruining the picture. And it's rather nice, black and white picture. I thought, well, we don't need any fancy stuff. That'll do. And it saved me a lot of work. Next thing I thought I'd need, well, I always like having a font. I spent quite a long time typing in a font from Dynamic Games of the Spectrum by Tim Hartnell. It was a Gothic-y font. I typed it in wrong, and then I downloaded one that had been typed in earlier, and that wasn't great. So in the end, I found something on Spectrum Computing, and it was really rather good. It was an Austrian guy in the 80s, and he seemed to have a font called Alchemist. But what he's done, he's extracted fonts from various popular computer games. So Alchemist was there, that was a good contender, or I could have used the Tir Nog font, or the Nightclaw font. But in the end, I used the font from Lords of Midnight. Again, whack it in the code. I had to do some memory optimization because, as the book says, it uses pretty much most of the memory. So I had to cram it all in. Useful tips are don't use 0, use not pi. Don't use 1, use pi divided by pi. Change numbers to val, which will slow it down a bit. When playing the game, I noticed there wasn't a lot of action because there were only 30 monsters in the game and 10 of those are in fixed positions and don't move. So I increased that first to 50 monsters and then instantly ran out of memory. So I dropped that down to 40 monsters. And that seemed to work just about okay. So the monsters could move around a bit. There were some errors and minor bugs in how monsters were generated. Because you could have sea monsters generated on land and then just move around randomly. Wasn't really ideal. Fix that. And you could have monsters not moving in the correct positions. Fix those. Nice and simple. I noticed that the game talks a lot about gems. You can buy red gems, green gems, and blue gems. And there's a comment from one of the old codgers saying, oh, gems are very, very important. Gems do nothing, I could tell. Nothing at all. Gems do absolutely 0. So I've added a function for gems, which you'll see that in the game. Inventory stacking was a bit strange. You could buy a longsword for 50 gold pieces, which increased your strength by 50. You could keep doing that as long as you had enough money. This was a bit of a problem because you would eventually run out of memory because the inventory is held as a string, and a string would be a longsword / a longsword / a longsword / a longsword, etc. I hit this because I kept accidentally buying crossbows when I was testing out the gold system. So I changed it to whenever you try to buy an item, it will do a check, do you already have it? Put those in, nice and simple. That's 2 things I fixed. I also noticed that the game was very stingy with experience. If you killed a monster, you got 1 experience point. Experience is actually useless apart from getting on board the ship. You need 200 experience points to get on board ship. So I made it a bit more generous, giving experience based on the type of the monster. Also gave you more gold because you needed gold to buy food and needed gold to buy equipment, and there was not enough gold to go around. I noticed that you didn't heal ever naturally. You only heal by buying equipment. Because I stopped you stacking equipment, that meant you would never be able to heal. So I added a new variable for maximum strength, and then whenever you ate food and your strength was below maximum, it would top up slightly. To get on board the ship, you need to find the charts. The charts are in a certain position, which is the desert, and in order to find it, you have to dig for them. Unfortunately, you have no idea where to dig, and particular square that the charts are, it says, is the square white? If it's white and it's the right square and you're on it, there's a 70% chance of you finding the charts. Brilliant. Except if the square is white, you can't get onto the square because it's mountainous. I can find nothing that did anything clever like that. So I changed it, first of all, so the square was yellow. I then added a rumour in one of the old codgers in the villages so that it would tell you where the square was. So starting off again, first thing we do is head to the village and get some more equipment. See, food is dropping. Got a nice Lords of Midnight style font. It's all medievally. It's quite nice there. You may also notice when we get back to the main menu. Here we are. I'm asking an old man for commentary. He says the desert is a mysterious place. So that's one of the rumours you can get. There are a number of rumours, none of which had any impact on the game. So it talks about a princess, about gems, about the desert. So I've changed that. So now we're going to go to combat. Combat was quiet, and that annoyed me because I like a bit of noise. So now we get sound. Going up for your hits, going down for the baddies' hits. So now fighting this duck dragon thing, which is one of the gatekeepers, blocking your way to the great peninsula to the south. So it's an isthmus, not a peninsula. So get past him, move along. It's a big, big world. I've got multiple hours of footage. Here is another village. Here I can buy a longbow. So there was no point originally buying longbows rather than long swords because you just stack. And long swords are the most efficient in terms of money. But now you can buy one long sword. Now I buy a longbow instead. Here's another village. Here I can buy a red gem. Red gems were initially absolutely useless, but they cost money. Same with blue gems and green gems. I was thinking maybe if you had all three, you'd be able to find the treasure. No, did nothing. So I added a feature for them in the Warlock's castle where they protect you. This sort of seems quite a sensible thing to do. Also, I changed the pink from being forest to being poppies, because the pink are fields of quadrillion poppies because they drain your health. Forest doesn't make any sense. So it's the poppies. The poppies are pink. Forest should be green. So now round the far end of Quadriland, sorry. I'm just moving through the desert, looking for clues, looking for equipment. My strength is now a lot higher. Got a fair amount of experience. Food is still ticking down though. So now the top northern end of Quadriland, there are multiple villages. And there's the mountains. And there are 3 fixed guards. And the red square is a warlock castle, which is completely surrounded by mountains. Therefore, you can't get to it. So I'm going to fight these 3 big bad boss guys at the top. You deck them. And there's some sea monsters lurking in the water. And when you kill him, you get a good sum of money because you need various types of equipment in order to get on the ship. You need to have 200 experience. You need a compass. You need a sextant. And you need the charts. Compass costs 200 gold pieces. The sextant costs 500 if you can find it. And the charts are hidden somewhere. So now another village, and I can buy green gem for 300 gold pieces. Green gems are protective in nature. Another type of village. This one has all kinds of stuff, including a sextant. But it's nicely, it's nicely laid out. This is all stored in your RAM maps and access to our machine code very, very quickly. So here, he'll sell me a sextant, which is very important. You need that for 500 gold pieces. You need to use a sextant to determine your latitude. Having bought that, I'm now heading back the way I came, to where the boat is, crossing the desert to another village. And in we go. This is the same layout as the first village. In the houses at the top, there are old codgers we can chat to. Possibly fishwives, who knows. Not in the desert, though. So I can buy food in here. 50 units of food for 40 gold pieces. Food is good. And now I can go and chat and find out what's what. X marks the spot. So this now unlocks the fact that we can now see where the charts are buried. And unfortunately, whenever you talk to the rumour mongers, they rob you slightly. There are various things in the game, such as the spell and the needle. I don't know what they do. So I've left them in. I've not given them any extra powers. We just sort of, leave them be. So we're heading back to where the boat is. Heading back now. This is where we were right at the start of the game. On the far side of the big field of poppies. So we're going to cut through the field, because this will give us more experience. So you need experience for getting on the boat. I also changed it so when you heal, for every 100 points of experience, you heal slightly more. So healing becomes quicker, which makes more sense. You're better at fighting, therefore. And there's X marks the spot. Because when you dig, you use 5 units of food in one go, and therefore it's not guaranteed anyway. In the original version, you have to be in the right square and only have a 70% chance anyway, and you couldn't because it's the wrong colour. So here I'm going to dig, and I've now found the charts. So the only thing stopping me getting on the boat is my experience. Oh, that and the armed guard. So we'll go and take him out. There he is. You can attack him at the start of the game, but you'll probably die. He is rather tough. And now we're on the boat. So by adding more monsters, I have made the game slower. The flow of control was a bit confusing, as in, if you're pressing a key, you go somewhere, then you're pressing a key, it jumps out again. And I suspected, I'm not 100% sure, suspected that the stack was growing and growing and growing because there was go subs we were never returning to. And I noticed certainly there were issues where things were appearing the wrong colour. For example, the boat here is pulsing red. I eventually fixed that by saying, look, when you print the boat is blue, sort it out. And the same with the bloke on the land. So now approaching a castle. Castle is the red square inside the white area, white's being mountains. So we're going to get off the boat. And there's a very long delay, about 10 seconds or so to get on or off the boat. But just press B. And it goes, okay. You think, is it broken? And now it goes, yes, you're now off the boat. So I can now walk onto the land. And I'm in the Warlock's castle. So move into here, and I'm in a force field. And lose 6 strength points. The space hopper thing at the top left is the evil Warlock himself. That's what we need to kill. So originally, if you're in the first Warlock's castle, the force field costs you 20 strength points. Second Warlock castle, 40. And the third, 100. And the gems did nothing about this. I thought, that's rather difficult. So you have to go through 7 spaces to get in, and 7 to get out. And that includes the last one, that being a 1400 strength points losing, which are unavoidable. So what I've done is two things. Each gem you have of the 3 reduces the strength of the force field by half. And also, once you defeat the Warlock, the force fields don't count anymore. So we're going to go and fight the Warlock. This is one of the 3 Warlocks, who looks like a space hopper, in his castle being evil. If that was 100 a time, the best weapon you can get is the laser pistol, which costs 2,000 gold pieces and increases your strength by 599. So there is no sensible way you can actually get through this corridor without dying. Unless the spell did something, but literally there was nothing in the code that changed what your strength did or the strength of the force field. It's literally, it is this number, take it off your strength, mate. Very strange. So now we're about to go and attack the Warlock, who's sitting there, bouncing up and down, presumably. Results of combat. 367 points for 58 points against. So he's powerful. However, he's no match for me. I have defeated the Warlock of Secundus Castle. This is the second strongest Warlock. I must still destroy 2 Warlocks to end the Dark Times. But that's enough for this video. So that was Quadriland, a game I've looked forward to for quite a while, and I finally got around to typing. And if you want to, I've asked Jim Blimey to host my improved version. I've only defeated one of the 3 Warlocks. The game is rather slow. I didn't increase the speed in the emulator, but if you increase the speed 2 or 3 times, you might find it a bit more enjoyable. I certainly did enjoy it, and I hope you did too. Thank you for watching, and do check out Jim's site. I'll put the link in the description below.